Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. Tea today is Still Builders. And I say Still Builders because I am recording this video, see, same t-shirt, back to back with the second of my top 50 videos. So I just thought that since everything is still fresh on my mind because we've been playing stuff and getting stuff and stuff, that I would just go straight on to filming the next video. Welcome to new subscribers. Welcome to subscribers that have been sticking around for a long time. I have some regulars, so I am happy everybody is here because boy, have we played some good games. But first, the game we have not played. Yesterday, Canopy arrived. Canopy Evergreen. This is the retail version. It was crowdfunded, but I opted in for the retail version. I have the retail version of the original two-player Canopy, and those of you who've been watching for a long time know that Canopy is one of our all-time favorite games. We really like that game a lot. So when they came up with, okay, we're gonna gussy it up a little bit, set it in the Pacific Northwest, and make it play up to 4 players instead of just 2, I said, yes, please. I definitely want that. So it came yesterday, and I'll give you a peek inside the box before we go on to what we've actually played. This will probably, rulebook, hit the table. This will probably hit the table in the coming weekend. So you may not hear about it right away because I'm doing a top 50 list. These are player boards. And the little circles, I think, are where you set out trees. Because we do have 3D trees in this, and there are player aids here. And some other little boards that I just don't know. But this is what it looks like. This is one of those games that they're trying to eliminate plastic. So everything is cardboard or paper or heavy cardboard or something like that. And they've got these nifty little tuck boxes. Something to keep in mind is these tuck boxes, the ones that you see here, they're already pre-assembled. You will have to punch stuff when you get it. And specifically, in this big tuck box, you will need to punch tree bits. This is the base of the trees that you will be building. And there's 2 pieces there. You will need to, I think, assemble that part prior to playing, in addition to punching. And there are canopies and midsections in addition to the tree bases. And of course, more animal things, more animal tiles here for your little animals. But yeah, and the tuck boxes have divisions in them. So you can see there are like some of my pieces here. And this is the top part of the canopy and this is the trunk part. And those are the animal pieces in the other one. And it shows you on the top of the box what goes in there. Though I have also tucked some of the little other pieces that they don't mention in there. And in this tuck box, there are other tuck boxes. Now, these other tuck boxes were in that bigger box. And these little ones in here, you will have to fold and put together. They were stored in this bigger box here. But they actually go into this box because, see, numbered tokens. But yes, they are nifty little tuck boxes here, tiny little things. And I did not have them in numerical order. That's odd. I think I'll just swap them out now. I must have taken something out and then just not put it back the right way. Okie dokie. And then we have the final box. The final box here is the box that has the cards in it. And I've also put in the tallest tree tokens and this pine cone token that I don't know what it does. But then we have the 2 sets of cards for your forest and other animal stuff. And also they have the shifting seasons variant for this version as well. So I am pretty pleased about this and looking forward to playing it this coming weekend, even though we are now into October, which is spooky season, and I should be doing spooky season games. And I do intend to play spooky season games, But we've been getting new games, and we have been playing games. I'm doing a horrible job of putting everything back in here for some reason. I am not sure why, because this is very, very well organized. So, new stuff. That's always exciting. And speaking of new, whoa boy. Well, yeah, I'll do this one next. We finally did it. We finally played Evacuation. This is a game I've been fascinated with. This is a heavy Euro, and we don't usually play heavy Euros. We tend to like light to mid-weight games, family weight games, a lot of them. And we tend to lean towards shorter games also, and a lot of Euros, let's face it, are long. We tend to lean towards shorter games because shorter games mean that the games get played more often, because on a weekend you may be doing other things. You're not going to be, most weekends, we're not going to be just getting up in the morning and playing games all day long. We're going to do some other things, and we will sit down and play a game here and a game there. And so shorter, lighter games tend to see more table time. But this is a heavy Euro, and I was fascinated by it because of the theme. We are definitely into theme. Theme is important to us in games. And again, a lot of heavy Euros are not super thematic, but this is. The idea of this is there are two planets. There's the old planet and the new planet. You start off your old planet, the sun is getting too hot. So you have a ton of resources and tiles and things on this old world, and you now need to dismantle all of that and move it to the new world. And there's a progress track along here that will get you stuff, but also that progress track will take away some of the stuff, some of the base resources on the old world, and you will need to go over other progress markers to get those resources onto the new world. So there's like kind of some tricky transitions there, because the resources that you have on the old world can only be spent to build old world things and to fuel ships, which you have to buy. And whatever resources you use to buy them, that's where those ships start off. If you use new resources on the new world to buy a ship, then that ship starts off on the new world and has to return empty to the old world before it can be of use evacuating. So there are some tricky things in this. You need to spend old world resources. That production needs to be spent on the old world, and or it needs to be shipped to the new world. And if you've got resources on the new world, it can be spent to build stuff on the new world, but you can't use it to do stuff you might need to do still on the old world. So if you've got all of your energy production over here, that's going to be a little bit of a problem, because you will need that energy to send the ship from the old world to the new. You will need some energy here still in the old world. And there are also goals and milestones you need to feed your people. And starting off, you are not required to have any food on the new world just for the first couple of rounds. But then gradually, but you will need a lot of food for the old world. But gradually, and this does not have anything to do with the tiles on there. It is a fixed thing, like in this year, because it's a 4-year track. In this year, you must have so much food on the old world and so much food on the new world. And in this year, you have this much food in the new world and this much food in the old world. You also have to build stadiums. Stadiums, think of them as basically a placeholder term for entertainment of any kind. Like my stadium cards had a roller coaster, a park, and board games. So yeah, essentially stadiums represent entertainment for your people. So you have to move industry, population, and you have to provide entertainment and food for your population on the new world while dismantling the things on your old world and still having enough resources to meet the markers you need to meet for the old world as you're transitioning over. So it's interesting and it's tricky. And I thought, Amy and Maggie over at Think or Themer, they did a really great video talking about all the stuff that they loved about Evacuation. And there was one point where Maggie is talking about, you know, just how bad it can get in this game. And she's going like, oh my people, I am so sorry. And that was just going through my head while I was playing this game. Oh my people, I am so sorry. Because I thought, they're all going to die. I am not going to be able to get them off of that planet. But I did. I actually managed to evacuate the entire old world. I took no penalties in final scoring. I did not actually get all of my people settled on the new world. I had one set of people, the last of the population that I took off the planet in the very last round. I was not able to settle them on the planet. They were still in orbit around the planet at the time the game ended. But I got really close to making the arbitrary win conditions in-game conditions for the goals, which are 3 stadium and 8 production of everything on your little production track for the new world. And I got 8 production of 2 resources and 7 of another. So that was pretty good. It was for a first play, but I should say that, and we did play it correctly. We watched a bunch of tutorial how to play videos, and we watched a little bit of some playthroughs, and we started playing it, but then we were not sure how we were doing. So we started playing it, and then we just took a break, watched more videos, came back, corrected the stuff we were doing wrong, played a little bit further, then took another break, had a Zoom with a friend, watched another video to double check that we were doing this right and make sure that we understood some of the stuff that was going to become more of an issue as the game went on, and some of the tiles that we had for our technology and everything. So we went through, we watched some more videos, then we came back to the table and we played a bit more. It actually took us the whole day because we didn't just sit down and play. We played a bit, and then we watched videos, and then we played a bit more, having fixed the stuff that we did wrong at the very beginning, so that we were starting off right where we did, and we did all the decisions correctly. So then we, watched another video, and then we came back and we played some more, and then we watched another tutorial and came back and played some more, and we had a Zoom call with a friend in the middle of that. So it just stretched out. I don't actually know how long a 2-player game of this will actually play, because we were learning the games and we were watching videos, making sure that we were doing everything correctly. And also, as I said, we took a break to see friends and things like that. So I don't know how long this game is. I don't know if it actually plays fast or long, but we really understood the game by the time we were really into it and sitting down at the table and playing for a good stretch for the last 2.5 years or something. But it's a good game. We enjoyed the heck out of it, despite the fact that it is really tricky and hard. It's an interesting sort of puzzle. It's very different from a lot of resource production and management games where you are engine building, because in those cases you usually start off with nothing or very little, and then you do stuff within the game either by playing cards or taking actions or something like that in order to get resources and get resource production, so that by the end of the game you have ramped everything up to maximum production. But with this game, you start off with maximum production. You start off with all the stuff, and then you must dismantle it in a very judicious and careful manner and move it and start production elsewhere, so that you will end up having production on both planets, and you need to be able to have enough production on each planet to do the things you need to do in each of those locations. New World resources can only be used for New World stuff, New World actions. Old World resources can only be used on the Old World. So that transition is really, it's very, very interesting, and it gives you a different sort of decision than a lot of typical engine building kind of games do. And there's just a lot of moving parts in this game. There's just a lot of stuff going on. It is not light. It is definitely a heavy Euro. This may be the heaviest game we've played. It was definitely challenging, but I think we got the hang of it. I really do. So, and Robert liked it. He tends to like lighter games than I do in general, but he liked it. Although his people, yeah, he had some people that got stranded and burned up on the old planet at the end of the game. But he did manage to populate his new world to some extent, because he said, I'm doing crimes against humanity here, because he was cloning like mad in order to put population, which also equals production, onto the new world. But by doing that, that just left the old people stranded, but he wasn't in a position. It was like basically too late in the game to get those last people off the planet. So yeah, it's tricky. It's really tricky. Even if you understand the game and you know what you're doing, there's still a lot of ways you can mess this up. But it's a very interesting puzzle. I mean, if you like playing heavy Euros and you want a puzzle, a gameplay puzzle that's different from what you usually do. And we played this in race mode. There's also a points mode and some other variation, and I think there's a solo mode for this. Yes, there is a solo mode for this too. It plays solo to 4. And there's like at least 3 different modes or variations that you can play on this thing with differing levels of complexity. So, and when you get the tiles that you lay out for your technology tiles, there are 4 sets of tiles. And those sets of tiles are different depending upon which set you got. So I grabbed a set of tiles and Robert grabbed a set of tiles. And so our special actions for technology were different from each other. And that means the next time we play, our technology advantages are going to be something that may be totally different from what we had the first time. So there's a lot of replayability to this, even if you've cracked the essential puzzle of how to move these things over. Then that's race mode, but if you go into points mode, then that gives you more challenges. And there are also modes that have goal cards in them, and there's just a lot of game in this box. This was a Spiel release last year, and I'm kind of like proud of myself. We managed to get the game and play it before Spiel this year. Actually, we got the game over the summer, and we've just been dragging our feet because I was so intimidated by this because it's so much harder than the things that we usually play. And I thought, we're either not going to be able to learn it, or playing it is going to be a hellish experience, or we're just not going to like this. And none of that was true. I mean, I feel like learning this game, and Robert agrees with me on this, learning this game was actually harder than playing it. Once we learned it, then we could really set about figuring out how to play it. But learning it was a bit of a slog. But yeah, this is a super good game. And if you like heavier weight games, I would highly recommend it because it is just really interesting and fun. We do like a good puzzle. So that was Evacuation. That was the big game we played the last weekend in September, which was the weekend before I am filming this. So it'll probably be a couple of weeks before this goes up. And we are still on our Zapotec kick. We also played Zapotec that weekend because remember, it's like we thought we had gotten the hang of it and then we played another game and tanked. Well, this time I think I really have figured it out. It has clicked. Now, whether or not because everything just came together perfectly. It's like I had a strategy. I thought, oh, wow, yes, this worked. So the question is this something that I kind of just lucked out because of the way the cards we both got at the beginning of the game? Or is this a strategy that I would actually be able to do to good effect in future games? We shall see. And I have clued Robert in on it too. So he knows what I did in this last game that worked out so well. So both of us are going to be trying the same thing to optimize our turns. So it will be, the next game we play of this is going to be real interesting. But this is also a Euro game, but I would call it a light Euro. It's very short. It's basically meant to play faster and more compressed than other Euros. But yeah, we like it a lot, and we just keep coming back to it. I wasn't really sure about this. This game is published by Board and Dice, and they usually publish stuff that's just so much harder than the stuff we normally play. And then, of course, we play stuff like Evacuation. So what do I know? And Zapotec is a Board and Dice game, and we like it. It is one of their lighter games, which means that it's not super heavy, but this is not light. Yeah, actually, nothing we played this weekend is light. Though, once you know this game, once you know how to play this game, it plays pretty quickly. It really does, especially at two-player. Our games are getting faster and faster at two-player as we figure out what we need to do. Though there is still just a little bit of analysis paralysis because you've only got 5 rounds, and you can only really do a lot of stuff in 4 of them. There's only one thing you can do in the first round. So this is very, very tightly compressed, and you really don't want to mess up a round. If you just totally tank your turn in one of the rounds, you will not recover in this game. I found that out the hard way. And Robert has found it out the hard way too. But we're still kind of fascinated by this, and I think it might hit the table again along with Canopy next weekend. Canopy Evergreen, I should say, next weekend, so that Robert and I can, both of us together, use the strategy that I used and see if it will work or if we will just get in each other's way. But yeah, we had a lot of fun playing games that are heavier than the usual sort of stuff we play. I mean, you can tell by some of the games that are turning up on my top 50 games list that we are not generally heavy gamers. But also, shorter games just seem more table time. There are bigger and longer games we really like, but we don't play them enough to love them, I guess is what it comes down to. It's like the more you play a game, the more you love it, the more attached you become to it, unless you just get burned out on it and you realize that this game does not have the replayability you thought, in which case it goes downhill with more plays. But we so far haven't had any games that we've played so much that they've dropped. But yeah, this coming weekend we'll try to get Canopy Evergreen to the table, and then I will talk about that in my next Sitting Around the Table Talking About Board Games episode. So I am interspersing the What We Played episodes with the top 50, which I'm doing 10 at a time. And that has been a lot of fun too. I appreciate y'all sitting here and hanging out with me and seeing what adventures Robert and I are going through. Going through? That makes it sound horrible, doesn't it? What adventures we are having as we play board games. I think I've got one more crowdfunding delivery this year, I think. Yeah, I'm not planning on buying anything until the Christmas sales comes along. So maybe we'll catch up on our unplayed games because we do have a few. But I will see y'all next time around the table. And it's been fun. Bye.